Hello, wonderful, beautiful Freda fam and new friends. I'm so happy that you're here today. Today, we're going to be speaking about a very, very important topic, and that is how to divide the labor within our relationships in a way that truly makes sense, honors us, our needs, and the needs of our husband, as well as the realities of what is going on in our life, and really get into understanding how we can make changes today that will benefit our tomorrow. Running a household has a lot of moving parts. I likely know better than most, as I used to be a household manager to the rich and famous, and there is a lot that goes on. And that's true even if we live in a household that does not have rich or famous individuals. I have found it useful with my husband when we talk about dividing up the labor for our household to ask a few questions. So the questions to ask when sharing the workload and deciding how that workload gets shared is: who has more free time? What chores do you or they hate or struggle to do? What chores do you enjoy? Because even though chores are chores, there are some that can be quite enjoyable. I know for myself, I love cooking. I also really enjoy prepping my husband's lunch, because it's like when he has a break in the day to eat his lunch, it's like a little bit of me is right there with him. And outside of, enjoying chores, because chores still are chores, what are things that you excel at or don't mind doing? When it comes to my husband, something that he doesn't mind doing is thankfully cleaning the cat box, because although I can do all other cat related chores, it's just I don't have the stomach for it. So we're looking into getting one of those self-cleaning cat boxes. If you guys have any suggestions in the comments, please let me know. It would be so appreciated, as right now we are in the research stage of purchasing that kind of product. It's really important that we ask ourselves these questions so that we can divide the labor in a way that's truly equitable. It's not a 50-50 split, because whoever decided that that was the appropriate ratio is lying to you. If I, a homemaker for instance, only did 50% of the work while my husband also went out and worked, that would be asking for him to get burnt out. And as I'm sure you know, when you're burnt out, you're not mentally present, you're not happy, you are incredibly stressed, and your health suffers. I know none of us want that for our spouse. So it's really important to consider these questions. Who has more free time? Because when we have a time budget, it helps us to increase not only the efficiency in how we get things done, but also the quality time availability. Because if during our free time, we are ensuring that things around the house that need to get done are indeed done, then when our spouse comes home, we're able to, instead of doing things then or having them do those things then, we're able to relax and enjoy each other's company, which is something that's really important, especially if your love language is quality time. Now, let's talk about how our love languages do intertwine with dividing of the labor and doing the labor. But first, what are love languages? For those of you who are not familiar with Dr. Gary Chapman's work, he is first and foremost a counselor. He's also the author of The 5 Love Languages. Now, what are the 5 love languages, and what ones will we be touching on today? Well, the 5 love languages are physical touch, which is self-explanatory, acts of service, which is one that we will be diving more into, receiving gifts, quality time, which is another one that we will be diving into deeper today, as well as words of affirmation. This one we'll also be touching a bit on, as it has to do with the topic at hand. Acts of service are how we feel when people do things that are nice for us, such as when our husband does the dishes. That is one that if our love language is acts of service, we really feel loved, we feel valued, and we feel appreciated. And when somebody's love language is acts of service, doing more household tasks for that individual is even more highly regarded and appreciated. Now, another one that we'll be diving more deeply into is quality time. Now, somebody who appreciates quality time can benefit greatly from, of course, having more time with their spouse, where they get to focus on one another and connect with one another. So, what do these two love languages have to do with dividing the household labor? If you're with someone whose love language is acts of service, you can use these chores that you're doing that you might not like doing, but they don't like doing either, to demonstrate your love for them. And when you have that mindset, even if their love language isn't necessarily acts of service, it can be really helpful, because you're not thinking about, oh my gosh, this chore is just the worst. You're thinking, this is going to benefit our family so much, or this is going to benefit myself so much. And that gives you kind of more grace and motivation to get certain things done that normally you just wouldn't have any interest in. Now, on the other hand, if your spouse's love language is words of affirmation, telling your spouse that you really appreciate how they cleaned XYZ, or about the delicious meal they made for you, or how there was this one organization project that it would have been really difficult for you to do because that's not how your brain works or whatever, and they made it look so amazing and they did it in, concocting compliments that truly demonstrate how much you understand what they're doing, not only for themselves but for the family and for you, is a great way to use words of affirmation when it comes to doing the labor of having a household. Now, back to cooking delicious meals, like I was talking about. If you are somebody that hates grocery shopping, or you're just really not into how expensive some meat can be for less than the quality product that you know your family deserves, then let me introduce you to the amazing, amazing thing that my family gets every single month. It's called Butcherbox. They consistently have amazing deals going on. And even though I'm not sponsored by them, I did really want to share with you how much they have made my life simpler, more effortless, and believe it or not, even though we are getting a freezer full of high quality meat that comes from small farms that are the backbone of our beautiful country, we're also saving so much money. And it's amazing. It makes cooking a breeze. I love having, the different Pinterest recipes that I really enjoy making and experimenting with. I love knowing that I already have the meat in the fridge for that specific recipe, and it allows me to have higher motivation to actually get into cooking. Plus, it helps that you don't have the negative effects of eating low quality meat, because everything is really top notch. Once I actually had the opportunity to speak with the founder and meet him, and he was a lovely, lovely man. So I know oftentimes the loveliness of the CEO doesn't come into play when we're making our decisions for our family. But it does help to know that you're supporting a small business as well as supporting small farmers. It's one of the reasons I love Butcherbox so much, but like I said, they're always running amazing promotions to save so much money. And I'm so happy that I actually can give you guys $30 off your first box. Plus, right now, on top of that, they're also running a special. How mind-bogglingly awesome is that? So if you sign up now using my link below, you'll save $30. I highly recommend you try it, because with the cancellation being so easy, you can skip a month, you can cancel anytime. The only thing you have to lose is money by shopping elsewhere. Do yourself a favor, try Butcherbox today. I highly recommend it and I know you won't regret it. Now, another thing that can really help too, when it comes to having that time budget to make sure that everything gets done, but you also get to have quality time with hopefully the love of your life. That's where my meal planning and meal prep worksheets come so heavily into play. They make my life so much easier, and that's why I created versions for you that you can use either in the Pages app right there for all of my Apple users, or alternatively, you can just print them out and use them over and over and over again. And guess what? They're free, because here at ResourcefullyFreda, we love a good freebie. So, it's really important if you're feeling like the division of labor in your relationship is not working for you, that you openly and respectfully communicate about it. Otherwise, resentment can build, nagging can happen, and all sorts of unfortunate fights can take place simply because of the fact that you weren't communicating about it in a clear manner. So step up, take that conversation into your own hands, and now you have some questions that are really solid that can help you lead that conversation in a respectful, humble, and mild way, while ensuring that the needs of the family, your needs, and your spouse's needs are all met. That's what your family deserves. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I truly wish you the best when it comes to reimagining that division of labor in your relationship. And I look so forward to seeing you in my next video next Sunday. Bye.